Welcome to this introductory episode of Heartful Communication. Let's start with a small experiment. Imagine you have submitted a project or assignment for review and you get this response.
What rubbish is this?
How would you feel? Not particularly happy, I'm guessing. You may even get angry, curse under your breath. Now imagine if the same person said this.
Actually, I had something else in mind.
That's not so bad, is it? Even though, in both cases, the report hasn't met expectations. Communication, both verbal and non-verbal, plays a crucial role in every sphere of life, be it relationships, work, or personal growth. Our behavior, the choice of words, and the manner in which we speak hold profound significance and often dictate the success or failure of our endeavors.
Language creates our reality. We think in language. We're creating our world by what we think, and we're using language to do that thinking. Hafiz said, the words that you speak become the house that you live in.
Heartful Communication, or HC, is a program run by the Heartfulness Institute with the intention of helping people communicate in a way that is beneficial for them and those around them. Thousands from across the world have taken this program online or in person and have been amazed by the changes they are able to perceive in their interactions. It is literally like seeing the world with a new lens. Heartful Communication is informed by Nonviolent Communication, or NVC, that was developed by American psychologist Dr. Marshall Rosenberg in the 1960s. The principles of NVC are complemented by Heartfulness, a heart-centered meditation technique based on an ancient Indian practice for the evolution of consciousness. Liz Kingsnorth, the director of the Heartful Communication Program, has worked in communication and conflict resolution for over 40 years. She has helped corporate teams, students, troubled teenagers, prison inmates, and even a small group of Israelis and Palestinians to look beyond their differences and work together. She is a certified nonviolent communication and heartfulness trainer. Together with a dedicated team of volunteers, she has created multiple HC offerings to suit all needs. In this introductory episode, Liz is going to talk about one of the core foundations of heartful communication: needs consciousness.
Because in heartful communication, what we are focusing on is the quality of connection between myself and myself and another. It's helpful if we can find what we have in common that can connect us, rather than what divides us. So with the consciousness in heartful communication, we focus not on behaviors, not on what people are doing and what they're saying, because that's where we don't agree with things, that's where people argue. It's actually where people are in conflict, is at that level of action, behavior, words, and so forth. What we focus on is something which we call needs consciousness. That is, what is it that somebody is trying to fulfill, what need, what value, what motivation is there that they're trying to fulfill when they say what they say and when they do what they do. So, for example, if you take bullying, what we call bullying behavior. So if we see somebody who's behaving in such a way that we would say that's bullying, then immediately probably an opinion comes up an opinion will come, a judgment will come. In other words, our attention is then focused on the behavior, and then we're in that whole idea of I like it, I don't like it, it's good, it's bad, what can I do about it? We're up here. Whereas if we want to try to understand ourselves, other people, understand human behavior at a much deeper level, we could say at the level of the heart, then we shift our focus away from the behavior and say, let me try to sense into, feel into, understand what might be the need that that person is trying to fulfill when they do this kind of behavior, which is dominating behavior. It might be aggressive, it might be triggering pain in the other person in some way. So I want to be very clear that we certainly don't have to like or agree with what the person is doing or saying, not at all, because that's the level of, the strategies, and we have a preferred way of doing something to try to get that need met. But if we focus on what might be the longing of that person, and when you get to know people who, use bullying behavior, what you usually find is that they're longing for some kind of recognition, some kind of self-esteem, some sense of I'm significant, I'm powerful, I am somebody. It might be that they need some appreciation. It might be that they're doing this in order to have a sense of belonging, with a group of some kind. In other words, those belonging, recognition, appreciation, esteem, significance, power, all those things we would say are human needs. They're motivators. In some ways, often they're like longings that people long to fulfill. People long to have often a sense of recognition if they have not had that. And as we know, most people who are using bullying behavior have been bullied in some way or another. They're hurt. The other need that is in there often is the need to be understood for perhaps the pain that they have endured themselves. So when we shift our focus and try to feel into what we'd say those needs are like motivators for human behavior. They're like values. They're something that matters to somebody, something that is important to somebody. And they're all part of the life force, actually. It's like the life force that is trying to always come to fulfillment and is always moving us towards well-being. So all those needs and values at their deepest level actually contribute to life. So if somebody might say, oh, he's got a need for revenge. Now we would say that's not a need. That's a choice of action, whether it's conscious or not conscious, that it's a strategy to try to get a much deeper need met. So when somebody wants to have revenge on somebody else, almost always, of course, because there's been some deep hurt of some kind, some trauma that's happened with them, and that need for revenge, so-called, has a deeper need of, I just long to be understood for what I have suffered. Let the other person experience this too, then they'll know the pain that I have suffered. It might also be a longing for justice, for some kind of, equality in the situation. You see what I mean? So we would say revenge is not a need. It's still at the level of action, of a choice. So when I say choice of action, sometimes those choices we make very consciously, that I'm going to do like this, I'm going to say like this, but often they're not conscious at all. They're the result of our conditioning, of our patterning, of our history, of all those influences, social influences, our culture, and so forth, that have led us to having certain patterns of behavior. And so, but these needs, the need for security, for belonging, for love, for appreciation, for support, for meaning, for purpose. There's so many of these. These are all motivators. And because all human beings share them, doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter what culture you're from, where you are in history, all human beings share these deep values, these deep needs, the need to contribute to others. That's, I think, one of the deepest human needs. But because we share them, they offer us like a kind of field where we can connect. So, and there's a lovely quote from Rumi, which says, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing. In other words, our thinking, our judgments, that's right, that's wrong, that's good, that's bad, you're better, you're worse, that's normal, that's abnormal. Beyond that way of thinking, or deeper, you could say, he says there's a field. That is the field of that different consciousness that says, I can meet you in that field. In other words, what we share as human beings. So in heartful communication, it's like a central principle is to refocus our attention, to tune our consciousness, our awareness to what is it that is motivating me, what is my need when I say to somebody, oh, how can you be so selfish? Now there's the accusation, there's the judgment, and I'm into a fight with somebody who then says, I'm not selfish, what about you? But when I tune into myself, how can you be so selfish? I say to myself, what is my need? What am I longing for? If I'm saying that somebody's selfish, it's because I really want to have some kind of connection with them. I'd love some consideration. I might long for some support. But the problem is we don't say that. We don't say, right now, I'm feeling exhausted and I would just love to have some support and, for you to help me with this. Instead of that, we say, you're so selfish. You're always thinking about yourself. You only do what you want to do, So those patterns of speech in heartful communication, first of all, we recognize them. We get to know them. We become aware of judgment, blame, accusation, demand, labeling people. You are a racist, you are a feminist, whatever it is, those labels. We become aware of those forms of language which will disconnect us, absolutely disconnect us, not only from the other person, because they won't enjoy hearing that, but also from ourselves, from our own hearts. We're up here when we're in those disconnecting, alienating forms of language. So we learn how to say it differently and focus on expressing what that need is that is alive in me, like in that example, that I would just love to have some support or companionship or whatever it might be. To say my feelings, not I feel that you are. That's not a feeling. That's another version of an accusation. So, maybe I'm feeling a little lonely and I would just love some companionship. I'd love to be with you. But we don't say that. We just say, you ignore me. So this focus, this shift of our awareness to the needs, then can manifest itself in how we express ourselves. So we're saying what is alive in us, what's authentic, what's true for us, in such a way that it will connect with the other person because they also know what it means to feel alone, to need some companionship, some support. They can connect at that level rather than this barrier which comes up when we use the other forms of language. So that needs consciousness manifests in how I understand myself, So if I'm perhaps blaming myself, my goodness, you made a real mess of that, didn't you, Liz? Haven't you learned anything? I learn how then to hear my own longing, perhaps for competence, it might be, or to make a contribution in a way that's meaningful. I recognize my own feelings, my own needs, and we do that through that process of self-connection. I use the needs consciousness when I'm listening to somebody. I'm trying to hear what it is, what they long for. Let's say they're, very angry with me about something that I have done or not done. Let's say they're saying to me, you didn't keep to that agreement. You said that you were going to be there at 11 o'clock. You said you were going to do this by this time. You haven't done it. Then the whole thing is wasted. So if they're angry with me, what mostly people will do is try to defend themselves. It's not my fault, it's because didn't happen, and I didn't get the printer was broken, or whatever it might be, or my mother-in-law had a problem and I had to, attend to her. I have means of justifying and excusing myself, but instead of that, I try to hear, by listening with my heart, to what they're actually longing for when they're accusing me of this. And then I use that needs consciousness to gently, tentatively reflect back what I imagine or guess might be important to them. So in that instance of being accused that you just haven't done what you said you're going to do, you're so unreliable. So I might say, it sounds like you're really frustrated, and you would have loved for us to be able to keep to agreements, that I would keep to those agreements that we made, so that you could have a sense of, yes, you could rely on me there. So I tune in to what they long for. And of course, for most people, they don't expect to have that. That's empathy, that's trying to connect with what matters to them. So that's the way that the needs consciousness would also manifest in how I receive what is alive in the other person, how I listen for their feelings and listen for their needs. So that consciousness then, it's like woven through all your daily interactions. And in a way, you could say it's like seeing human behavior through a different lens, through the lens of what are the values, what are the longings, what are the needs that at any moment somebody is trying to fulfill when they do what they do and when they say what they say. Even if I don't enjoy what they do or what they say, I have this possibility of refocusing my consciousness. And what happens is, and this is what, hundreds and hundreds of people who've learned Heartful Communication tell us, is that it brings about openness of heart, compassion, because now they're understanding somebody at the level of the heart, rather than judging them at the level of mental activity, the level of the head. So the needs consciousness aspect of Heartful Communication is one of the aspects that I think probably everybody who does a Heartful Communication program says is transformative, actually. It's transformative in that it enables them to find a sense of connection, a quality of connection with themselves and with other people, which wasn't there before.
As we end this session, we leave you with an exercise. Study the following statements and behaviors and try and identify what underlying positive needs do you sense could be motivating these. What do you think the person is longing for deep down? You can extend this exercise of identifying needs to your own life situations. Wherever you are, try to sense what need or value someone is attempting to meet when they are speaking or when they are doing something that you don't like. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. Thank you for watching. Do join us for the next session. Until then, goodbye. Sit comfortably and close your eyes softly and gently. Feel a healing energy move up from the earth into your toes, feet, and ankles. Feel your toes relax and your feet relax, and allow your ankles to relax. Now feel this healing energy move up to your knees. As it moves up, it relaxes your calf muscles. Feel this energy remove all the tension from your knees. Now it is moving further up your legs, into your thighs. Feel your thighs relaxing. Now the energy has moved into your hips and waist. Feel them relax. As the energy moves up, your lower back is relaxing. And your stomach. Now the energy has moved into your chest area. Feel it relax. Feel the energy move up your back and into your shoulders. Feel your upper back relax. And feel your shoulders simply melting away. The energy is now moving into your arms. They too are getting relaxed. Feel all the tension from your elbows leaving. And as the energy moves into your forearms, they too are getting relaxed. Remove all the tension from your wrists as the energy moves into your hands and right up to your fingertips. Now move your attention up to your neck. The energy is moving up and relaxing your neck muscles. Now it is moving into your face, relaxing your jaw and mouth. The energy moves into your nose and eyes, relaxing them. Your cheek muscles are relaxed. Feel your earlobes relax. And now the energy is moving all the way up to the top of your head. Feel it relax. Feel your entire body is relaxed from top to toe. Now move your attention to your heart. Feel that a source of light is already present in your heart, and it is attracting you from within. Do not try and see the light, just know that it is there in your heart. Be open and receptive to a very subtle energy flowing into you. Relax into this feeling. If you find your awareness drifting at any time to other thoughts, don't fight them. Let them be. Gently remind yourself that you are meditating on the light in your heart. Allow yourself to become more and more absorbed within. Remain absorbed until you hear further guidance. while keeping your eyes closed, gently come out of the state of meditation. Now gently open your eyes. Reflect on what you just experienced. Try and retain this condition as you return to your daily routine.